What I'm about to share with you very well could be one of the strangest silver coin, quote, theft, unquote, stories you have ever heard. I'll explain as we explore. I use that word theft and put it in quotes for a reason, because even though this coin was stolen, it does not necessarily mean it was a theft. I'll explain as I report to you from this piece here from hyperallergic.com as a story about this strange activity that has occurred. And the headline is Brazilian conceptual artist steals historic coin from the British Museum. And he replaced the silver coin with a replica and deposited the original in a museum donation box. So that is the technicality why it's not a theft. We'll get into that in a moment. But this was a commentary on cultural theft. In other words, it was a social experiment. It was all to make a statement, apparently. A little after noon on Tuesday, June 18th, Brazilian artist Ele Sartuzzi entered room 68 of the British Museum and secretly replaced a silver coin minted during the English Civil Wars with a replica. Sartuzzi then left room 68, walked downstairs, and deposited the real coin in the museum's donation box. I'm going to stop right there because that's very dangerous. That's a very dangerous thing to be doing, especially holding a rare silver coin like this. And to just drop it in a donation box, you know what kind of damage that can do to a silver coin of historic significance? That alone should be prosecuted because it was reckless, even though he was doing this as an experiment and legally could probably get away with it. But anyways, we'll go on here. The action was the culmination of more than a year of preparation. Well, he didn't prepare too well because he obviously should have studied how to take care of and curate silver coins. It involves legal consultation, the study of architectural plans, and dozens of visits, all condensed into a single split-second legerdemain. Titled Sleight of Hand, the project is part of Sartuzzi's MFA presentation at Goldsmiths, a constituent college of the University of London. Well, that tells you part of what you need to know, too, and is on view through July 16th at the school's Ben Pimlott building. Through a 2-channel video installation, a museum display with 2 fake coins and a text, the exhibition documents the theft and return of the object. Well, good grief. You can just take the videos and post them on YouTube if you want to do that. Sleight of hand. Crazy. So there is the presentation, includes a museum display with the 2 fake coins. We blow this up, we really can't get an idea of what they look like, but that closely. But in response to Hyperallergic's request for comment, a British Museum spokesperson characterized Sartuzzi's action as a disappointing and derivative act that abuses a volunteer-led service aimed at giving visitors the opportunity to handle real items and engage with history. And by the way, handling those items probably is something that's it's very cautious in how you handle those coins. Likely not taking them and throwing them into a donation box with other coins. The coin was part of a group of objects reserved for educational purposes, including hands-on sessions with visitors. Services like these rely on basic level of human decency and trust, and would be a shame to have to review the provision of these services due to actions like this, the spokesperson said. Yeah, that's the understatement of the year, noting that the museum will be alerting police to this incident, and they should. And from the display, these are other images. You can see here, sleight of hand. Yeah, you give an opportunity like that to allow folks to handle those coins. You know, I'm sure they're probably instructed to be careful with how they handle those, and they're obviously in their separate little compartments, and they're not meant to be clanged around with other pieces there. Sartuzzi bases his defense on Section 11 of the Theft Act of 1968, which states that any person who, without lawful authority, removes from the building or its grounds the whole or part of any articles displayed is guilty of an offense, and the British Museum's policies, which state that visitors must not touch any collection object on open display, including sculpture or stonework, except as part of our organized events, which include touch tours and object handling desks. And so, yeah, so he took advantage of the rules there, obviously, and to what end? To make a statement, a political statement, a social statement, as part of a social experiment. And it's very strange. As Sartuzi's interaction with the coin occurred on the context of one such object handling desk, and since he technically didn't remove the object from the museum, Sartuzi and his lawyer argue that no laws or policies have been broken. Sartuzi told Hyperallergic that he believes the work opens a discussion around theft and looting in both a historic context and from a neo-colonial perspective within contemporary cultural institutions. Well, yeah, go figure. I think his little experiment kind of falls flat. How the 1911 theft of the Mona Lisa exponentially increased the painting's renown. Well, I don't know. It's crazy. What kind of thing is he pushing here? That this is going to make this coin worth that much more money. Here he is holding the a coin there. So going back to this, with a collection of over 8 million individual works, the British Museum describes itself as the first museum to cover all fields of human knowledge. And of course, with that being said, talk about the Mona Lisa, this certainly isn't going to, as one of these objects that they allow people to touch, it's not going to make the coin any more of a pedigree. So it has been increasingly plagued by repatriation claims aimed at some of the most famous acquisitions, including the Rosetta Stone and the Parthenon marbles. The government of the United Kingdom tasked the institution with telling the story of human culture from its beginning to the present. To contemporary ears, the pretension of the mission is nothing short of breathtaking. How could such a grand responsibility fall to one institution? And how could such an amassing not prevent the ability of everyone else to tell their own stories? Thematically, sleight of hand builds upon two of Sartuzi's animating interest, theater and magic, both of which rely upon momentary suspension of disbelief. As he says in a statement about the work, it's difficult to feel for the audience to enjoy Hamlet unless they pretend that they're in Denmark, or a card trick if they're always peering into the magician's sleeve. And it is also difficult for us to enjoy the British Museum unless we ignore the historical violence of law and its role of legitimizing looting as a tool for the foundation of universal museums, Sartuzi argues. Well, to me, his little experiment has fallen flat. And I don't think the message is taken very well, and no one's really making much of a connection there. You literally are just being disruptive in this case. So I think that has failed pretty dramatically. And you can see this is essentially the exhibit that's shown there. I don't know if we can see if we can get this thing. So there's a little larger image of it. It basically shows, the images or whatever of that. That's basically the exhibit, and it has a projector that shows what happened there. It's just crazy. What are some people thinking? Nonetheless, there's that coin, and this is probably one of the strangest precious metal crime. And I'm gonna put this under the precious metal crime playlist, a unique playlist in the YouTube precious metals community, showcasing. And I've been doing this for many years, showcasing precious metal crimes. And I think this falls under that, and maybe they will be able to get him on, damage or damage of museum property. Because taking it and throwing it into the, they may have a case throwing it to a donation thing rather than handing it to somebody. Even if he handed it off to a guard or something on the way out, he very well may have been detained, and he knew he would be detained for this. And so I think that's why he put it in the donation, because he knew it was wrong. And although technically he may not be charged with theft, they may be able to find some other charges and should charge him with those things. It's crazy. All for some sort of social experiment or a political message that he's making against Great Britain. Go figure. This is one of those SMH moments. Shake my head at what's going on. So there it is. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story. I found it quite interesting. It's what I like to do here. If you find any interest in this type of content, I have a playlist, as I mentioned, called Precious Metal Crimes. And hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. And if you did, I hope you will consider pressing that thumbs up button and sharing the video. So I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.